Hello! Ben says hello too! It's Levels Plus Reacts time to Summer Game Fest and Devolver Digital Showcase, Direct, whatever they call their thing. I just got home from doing a big event at my job. A little loopy, but we're going for it. I have no idea what's been announced outside of a Street Fighter VI announcement, which was in the trailer. So I can't really say that I am completely blind, but otherwise I didn't read anything, see anything. I did see a thumbnail with, I believe, Nightwing or Robin, so Gotham Knights is likely here. And I know that Modern Warfare 2 is happening, but you're not going to see that on this stream. So I'm going to skip around through these various trailers to basically find any highlights, and I will share them with you as we move along. Alright, so right at the top here is the Street Fighter VI reveal for Guile. So I have a feeling when Capcom does their own showcase next week that Cammy will show up, since that was the other character. You know, I have to say this, the redesigns for all the characters are solid. I think Guile looks like this is something Guile would wear. And him having a beard is kind of fascinating to me. And this is a very appropriate Guile stage. Is that Chris Redfield? Guile's really interesting now. They've done some really cool stuff to actually differentiate him a bit. It's nice to see a little bit more of the gameplay in action, too. So he's got a bit of a sonic break, like Nash used to have. That's a pretty cool super. Good to see the trademark hair is there. I will quickly admit that Guile is not one of my absolute favorite characters in Street Fighter, but he's an iconic character and absolutely should be in the game. And he looks great here. Let's move forward. Alright, we're back. I feel like I've gone like an hour into this thing, but we're back with some Midnight Suns, which is a game I am very interested in, combining the developers of XCOM and XCOM 2 for Axis with the Marvel licensing and a dark story. Sounds really intriguing. Now, I will say that I started watching this and realized there's a Metallica song in the trailer, and I don't need to get this video flagged, so I muted the video. So let's just go ahead and watch it without any sound. Once Jeff is done talking about it, that you can't hear him talk. Okay. Jeff had a lot to say there. It's fun, you know, when you have trailers and you don't accommodate streamers having to deal with DRM. Anyway, the fact that Firaxis is working on this is what has me interested in it. And it does look like this is a pretty rich, wide Marvel concept. As Venom's here, Wolverine's here. But it's focusing more on a dark, supernatural type of experience, which I think is pretty cool. Since we can't hear it, and I can't hear it, this is proving to just be watching Venom fall in love with this lady that I'm less familiar with. But regular old Spider-Man is involved as well, as are additional Spider-Man. I mean, the game looks pretty cool. terms of cinematics, it's combining all kinds of different people together. Alright, here she is again. Yeah, that's a deluxe Venom. I wonder if that's Scarlet Witch. Oh, Hulk is on that side too. Wow. Well, this is going to be an interesting game. Oh, there's Scarlet Witch right there. Yay, skins. Exciting. The unfortunate thing is that this trailer didn't really show any of the gameplay. There we go. I'm sure I have mentioned this somewhere before. I think Cuphead is a really fantastic game that I will never play because it is not tuned to the difficulty that I want to be dealing with. Since it's pretty much hard and it's all about mastery and actually going through and figuring out boss patterns and having to start things over. It's just not what I want to be doing. But beautiful looking game. It's great that players and fans will get a chance to play more of it. Here's Neon White, which is something I am interested in. I'm glad we have this nice little indie thing happening in the middle. I only know this because I zoomed ahead a little bit too far, which is a game I am interested in. I've watched some gameplay of it. It looks really, really fun. And we're getting a little bit of a better look at it. It's just great hearing Steve Blum in a very classic Steve Blum role. I do like that a lot. And what I watched of people playing this game looks really fascinating to me. I will be very quick to admit that first-person type of stuff like this is not usually my forte, but I did really like Mirror's Edge, and this reminds me a bit of Mirror's Edge, but with even more style, and definitely some different stuff. So yeah, that date did happen. So yeah. Just to stop this for a second, there was some people thinking that this was related to a Nintendo Direct, but it seems not. It seems that it got dropped here for next week. So that's exciting. I have no money to buy it, but I will eventually if it continues to look cool. And why are you here, Jeff? You're not a world premiere. Alright, I don't know what this game is, but it looks like a JRPG of some sort that's very anime. We'll give it a shot. We'll see what it's about. See who's publishing it. So, you are on a spaceship. It's pretty crisp looking. It seems like whoever is developing it has some budget. We always have to run everywhere in role-playing games, don't we? Character design seems fine. It's got a train. Looks like a lot of cinematic moves. Characters being cool. Shoving gems of electricity into people. No idea what that's about. Yeah, I have no idea about anything about this game, but it looks interesting enough. Couldn't tell you a thing about it other than it's a space thing. And it looks like an RPG. This is a game called Zenless Zone Zero. It's also looking incredibly anime-ish, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. But let's see what it actually looks like in motion whenever Jeff stops talking. Yes, we are officially in the Can Jeff Stop Talking? So this is the same publisher. And they're kind of firing on all cylinders by having two games side by side here. I sure hope we actually see something here in a minute, because seeing these silhouettes is getting a bit boring. So, what is this? It looks like it's an action game? Yeah, it's an action game. You get to fight against mechs as a lady with a sword. Oh, there's other characters involved, seemingly. Which is good. Very stylish looking. But again, just going off of that, it looks cool, but I know nothing about it. Because I've never heard of this company or anything that they've made before, so... Neat. Oh, hey, it's Shredder's Revenge. I have a feeling this is coming out very soon, which makes me a little sad, because I do not have the money to buy any games right now. And I really want to play this. It looks so fun. So, whenever... There we go! I didn't have to complain about Jeff this time. Whoa! Alright! The character everyone wanted, Casey Jones. Glad to see he's here. He really made sense to be here. I love the way how this game looks. I'm so excited about playing it. It's like Ninja Turtle fans are feasting right now in a way that they have not feasted in forever. So is this saying that there's 6? Wow, you can have 6 players play this game. That's bananas. How cool is that? That's amazing. And with all the team-up attacks and stuff, that's going to be so fun. I love all the team-ups, too. Alright, well, we got a little bit of a better sense of who is appearing in the game on the right there. Next week. Alright. Well, it looks like all of those things that people were thinking that might lead to a Nintendo Direct is actually being revealed at this. I don't know what this game is. We're not going to watch it. Alright, we have Soul Hackers 2. I am so glad there's actually things I'm interested in the second half of this thing. I haven't seen this for a couple months. It's kind of interesting to think about that we haven't actually had a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei series outside of Persona in quite some time. It was the 3DS last we had one. And this game just really has a really strong style that is not Persona. Influenced maybe, but it's definitely distinct. Finn agrees. And I think the character design in this is pretty strong. So, that was a very short trailer. I didn't even have time to really react. Alright, Capcom Arcade Second Stadium. I thought they might save this for their own show, but, you know, if I've learned anything about Capcom is they are more than happy to undermine their own stuff. So, it looks like, yes, the rumors were true. It is, including a bunch of fighting games coming on Capcom Fighting Collection for some inexplicable reason, but a whole bunch of them are coming out together. Which makes me a little less excited about it, to be honest, because 10 of the games are on Street Fighter Anniversary Collection and Capcom Fighting Collection, and I would rather have them there than on Arcade Stadium, where there's no possibility of online. So I just don't know what Capcom is thinking on that one. But I'm going to stop complaining and stop watching this trailer. Alright, well, that's the end of this part. I think the most interesting thing that got me the most excited was Shredder's Revenge. But Neon White looks great. Alright, we are here in Devolver Land. I will, as always, skip around to the content of new games. My hope, as always, when it comes to Devolver, is a new Nomada Studio game. Will this be the year? Let's find out. Alright, here's the first game. It's got an adorable pig. But this is a Devolver game, so I don't trust it. They occasionally do cute stuff, but I just don't trust it. That wasn't too bad. This is Cult of the Lamb. Which is why I was right to not trust it. Because this game is dark. Adorable, but dark. See what I mean? I would like to know a little bit more about how it actually plays. Well, August 11th. That's a date, at least. Oh, good. A little bit of gameplay. So, my understanding is that this is kind of a... I'm trying to think of what to call it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Little King's Story or something like that, where it's a little bit real-time. You've got a little bit of combat, but it's also got sim elements. I think this game looks pretty fun if you can get through the dark undertones of what's going on. Because it definitely leans that direction. But it looks interesting. It's coming to everything. We'll be back. Alright, game 2. What does this remind me of? What is that game that has a lot of kicks? Or is this the game that has a lot of kicks and I've seen it before? Because it looks familiar. Anyway, this is not a game I'm going to be even remotely interested in because it is not my style. But yeah, I remember watching something about this before. Alright. Card Shark literally just came out either this week or next week, but reviews have been going up. They've been very positive. I remember watching this game at the last Devolver Direct, and I thought it was a really cool concept. But having watched it in motion, like how it works, It's not the type of game that I want to play personally. I think it's a really cool concept. I love the art style. I think that it does a lot of things that will be very compelling for a lot of people. But for me personally, it's just not something that strikes a chord, unfortunately. Game number 4. All Possible Futures is actually the Pokemon guy, the art director. He recently left and announced his development studio. And apparently he got a deal with Devolver. So good for him. And this game looks really interesting already. This is a very Zelda-looking game. But it's in a... Oh, yeah. I am loving this concept. This is... Wow. Wow. This is referring to so many retro games. It's kind of... Oh. Wow. This might be my favorite game shown so far. What a cool idea. Wow. This looks amazing, too. This is probably not on Switch. It actually is on Switch. Wow. I am very intrigued by this game. Game number 5. This reminds me of a different type of take on, like, if Sayonara Wild Hearts meshed more with Tony Hawk Pro Skating. What an interesting visual look for this game. That's one thing I love about Devolver, is that their teams are just really allowed to be really creative with how their games look. I will always respect that about them. I wonder what more is of the purpose do you have than just skating? It's like, what is there a story attached to this? I would think so. Yeah, skate story. Yeah, totally. There has to be a story attached to it. How interesting. I'm intrigued by that one. I don't think I'll probably do much more than be intrigued, but I'm curious. All right, and that is Devolver's showcase. And I put this up here to give them props for the people that put these together, because even though I didn't watch it, Devolver goes all in on their showcases, and I want to give the people credit that work on these. Hello! Again. I missed a few things from Day of the Devs, and then a few other companies decided to release trailers and such. So, to just do due diligence, since I didn't get a chance to upload this yet, we'll go ahead and cover those. And we'll start with Us 2's Desta, The Memories Between, which I haven't watched this yet, but a lot of the press was pretty all over this trailer, saying it was the best thing that was shown at all of this various conferences today. It's 11 p.m. and I just woke up from like a 3-hour sleep fest. So if I feel like my voice is a little off and all that, that's why. Let's go ahead and watch this and see what it's about. Us 2 developed Monument Valley and Alba, a wilderness adventure, prior to this. Alba is a game I actually still haven't planned to buy, I just haven't had a chance to do so yet. So apparently it's a roguelike with strategy elements. which sounds intriguing to me. That's a combination that I think I could get behind. I'm not the biggest fan of roguelites or roguelikes. I think I like things to be a little bit more consistent, but in terms of, like, I think that a roguelike's randomness works well with a tactical game, because tactical games are so oftentimes locked in. To have a game that is procedurally generated and, you know, having to, like, you don't necessarily die per se, but you might have to re-roll your characters. That sounds kind of intriguing, honestly. So, and we have pronouns in this game. That's very progressive. The art is great. I am a big fan of what I'm seeing. It's great to see a lot of people of color. Always appreciate that. Because that just doesn't happen often enough. The unfortunate thing is that I can't hear what's being said, that some of this is a little lost on me. Sorry. I do like what I'm seeing about this game a lot. I could see why people were talking about it.
It's definitely got more depth in the game mechanics than anything we've made before, and it's been designed from the ground up to be a really fantastic. We're really looking forward to telling you more about Dusk at the moment.
You get to pick allies. Yeah, I'm seeing why this particular game was being talked about so much. It looks really cool. I look forward to actually being able to hear the sound and hear what they're saying. Yeah, that was an excellent trailer. Let's see what else I found. Alright, this is a game called Time Flies. This is not a very long trailer. This is a game discussing the expectancy of life and trying to accomplish what you can in the time that you have. Yeah, pretty much what it just said. Cute pixel art style. Very real. There you go. I read a little bit about that, catching some attention because it's just kind of a very, I'm trying to think of the right word. It's a less serious take on that eternal question about life and death. So, neat. Alright, in case you didn't get enough of me being confused about Capcom Arcade's second stadium earlier in the video, here's the full trailer. Capcom is 39 years old. It's just a little wild to me, honestly, that Capcom decided that, you know what, it's cool to have these fighting games come out on 2 different compilations and just, we're gonna throw them on here anyway. I guess it's, what I have read about this is that this is a different team than working on Capcom Fighting Collection and arguably Street Fighter Anniversary, where their mission objective is to archive their arcade history regardless if it's elsewhere. And with that mindset, that it is not necessarily about, you know, making sure that we have everything be unique per se, but it's a proper representation of this period of the company, it does make more sense seeing these games appear in two different places. It does seem bizarre to me in terms of a business perspective of this approach. Because it does seem to be somewhat undermining their own efforts to a casual audience. That's not going to make that differentiation about, well, Capcom Fighting Collection's got the full featured contents. It's got training mode, online, museum modes, all of that stuff. While Arcade Second Stadium is replicating the arcade experience authentically, with different things like that. It's a different approach than I think we're used to seeing. And I think in the end, we'll see how this affects Capcom Fighting Collection. I hope it doesn't. I hope that people will still be interested in it, but I am concerned about it. I will admit that I do have concerns about Capcom releasing this so soon after Fighting Collection, and it basically absorbs the majority of it. What's left unique to Fighting Collection are the two Vampire Savior sequels, Red Earth, and that's it. Everything else that appears on there is either on Arcade Stadium 1 or Arcade Stadium 2, or in Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. And there's 10 games on here that reflect that. There's 22 unique games on Second Stadium, but there's just these 10 fighting games that are overlapping, and it just seems odd to me to do that. I hope it doesn't bite them in the butt, is all I can say. And I'll probably be continuing to talk about this when we get to Capcom Fighting Collection's Hype Month video later this month. Alright, something I missed skipping all over the place and Keely's video was the reveal of Flashback 2, which is an interesting retro pull. I was actually talking about some game the other day. I think it was when we did the no, actually it was Limited Run, that I didn't actually end up putting to air because I wasn't ultimately that impressed with what Limited Run had to offer. But I saw a game on there that reminded me of Flashback and Out of This World, and now we're actually getting a honest-to-goodness Flashback 2. That does definitely look like an evolution of that original game. It's got a lot of the same vibe, but in 3D. So we'll see if that turns out well. Alright, 2 more trailers and we'll call it the end of a reaction. This is called Animal Well. It's an adventure game with a 2D aesthetic. And that's about all I know about it. And that is not coming to Switch yet, if it is. And it's got some spoopy vibes. You get to be this blobby guy. It's cute. And you got a yo-yo of sorts. Yeah, those birds look like they're gonna eat you. This has got a charming style to it. But it is pretty spoopy. Oh, let's go get you. fan's a little wired right now, so my apologies on the background cat noise. Cute! Cute looking game, despite being spoopy. Alright, I lied. There's one more. And I was looking through a roundup of the Day of the Devs stuff. This is a game in Japanese. All I remember is Fox and Frog something. Sorry. But this is another type of adventure game where you are a young fox girl with a frog friend. And there is something insidious going on, as you can tell. It's got some spooks as well going on. But that looks pretty cool, actually, for a really short trailer. It had a really nice art style once I saw it in motion. I saw a couple of screenshots and I was like, yeah, that's neat, but I don't know if I'm that interested. But then actually watching it in motion, yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. I don't know what it's coming to, but it looks cool. Alright, this last one is from Fly High Works. It's called Goodbye World. It's another 2D adventure game. It's got some Earthbound 16-bit era vibes about it. Game Boy's glitched. Apparently it's got a game within a game. Which is kind of cute. That looks like a pretty decent Game Boy game. It looks like I ran out of batteries. So yeah, that's got a really nice graphic style. I am intrigued to learn a little bit more about what else it's about beyond you play a game and then get yelled at by your boss. But it's got a nice art style. Alright, we're going to call it there for this Levels Plus Reacts covering Summer Games Fest, Day of the Devs, and Devolver Digital. Tomorrow will be Guerrilla Collective and Wholesome Direct. Microsoft is on Sunday. And then Monday turned into a whole bunch of stuff. I think Capcom's got something going on Monday, I think. I don't quite remember the schedule anymore. But there will be stuff next week too from Capcom, Microsoft, another Guerrilla Collective, and hopefully Nintendo. As for Levels Plus Weekly, we will be talking about Pocky and Rocky Reshrined and the Works of Tango project for Sunday. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I wasn't too tired this last bit. We will see you soon, friends. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.